Namaste. Welcome to the RSV group of channels. Today we are here with the chapter number 3 of class 8 history, and the name of the chapter is Ruling the Countryside. As we have read earlier that in the previous chapter we have read that the Britishers, they came in India as a trader and they became the powerful rulers simultaneously and gradually with the span of time. Now what did they do? They started ruling the countryside also, because India is a land of villages also. So basically ruling the countryside was a very essential important step of their ruling. So first we will start with the topic with the revenues for the company. So the topic revenues for the company will be started like this, that earlier time prior to the ruling, having the territory or the power, they used to brought the gold and silver from Britain, and they used to sell it in the Indian market. After getting the currency in the Indian rupees, they used to buy the product and again went back to the European markets for selling them, or simultaneously they used that money for giving the revenues to the Mughal Empire also. But after giving the bribe to some of the Mughal officials, what did they do? They got the Diwani of some villages of Bengal, and as a result they stopped bringing the gold and silver from the Britain, and they got the revenue from that villages also only. Now they were having the revenues, and they became, and most affected people of that thing was were the peasants and the farmers, or the farmers what we can say, because they have to give the revenue to the British officials also, and simultaneously they have to give the revenue to the Nawabs also. So they were the most affected people in the thing. Now when in 1770 huge drought or famine that broke out in the Bengal, which killed 10 million people, more than 10 million people. So at that time neither Britishers nor the Nawabs, they took took care of any of the people, and they got the huge dispopularity among them. And after that, the need to improve the agriculture was come into the mind of the Britishers, because ultimately they wanted to take the revenue from the peasants. So now they want to improve in the agriculture, because at the time most of the people, they depend on the agriculture only. So what did they start? What did they do? They brought some of the new types of revenue systems, and the first system of the revenue was a permanent settlement. Now come to the permanent settlement, that which brings down he brought the new system that was known as permanent settlement, and in that system the revenue was fixed for a particular or certain amount of the time. That means a period of 10 years. That means that amount of the revenue that was fixed up to the 10 years. So if the farmers, they got the profit in the cultivation, or if they got the loss, doesn't matter to any of the British officials, because the revenue was fixed. And they started a new type of term also, that was known as the zamindari also. So the people who are having who owned a huge amount of land, they were now titled as the zamindar, and they were the person who were playing as the role as the mediator between the officials, British officials, and the peasants. They used to give the rent. They used to rent the land to the people, or they give job to the people in their fields, and as a result they used to take the revenue and took the revenue from the peasants and gave it to the officials, and simultaneously they used to take their own commission also. So depend on that, how the weather was going. Sometimes it was also happened that weather was very good and they got a very good production. So at that time the revenue was fixed, and simultaneously if they had a loss in the production, so they had to pay the revenue because revenue was fixed. So it was neither a loss nor a profit job for the zamindars or the peasants. But the officials, when the production was huge and the revenue was excess, so that revenue or the profit that was being taken by the zamindar, so that was not being acceptable by the Britishers. So at that time they started a new type of revenue system, and that was known as the Mehelwari system. So Mehelwari system, it was being started, and according to the Mehelwari system, the village was being are made, and the small villages were known as the mahal. Okay, now mahal means the headmans. Now the Britishers, they did not like the role of the zamindars as a mediator. So what did they do? They give that role to the village headman. Now village headman, he was known as the mahal. That's why that system was known as the Mahalwari system. Similarly, at the same time in the south, Captain Alexander Reed and Sir Thomas Munro, he brought a new type of revenue system because there were no zamindari or the village headmen in the south. So they brought a new type of system that was known as the Rayatwari system and Munro system also. That according to their system, that the Britishers, they don't have the mediators, and they don't like the mediators because they directly have a contact with the people who were having the cultivation. That means they were known as the peasants or the ryots. So that system was known as the Rayatwari system. But that system also suffered. Through that system, the peasants again started suffering because at that time that most of the peasants or farmers, they were dependent on the weather, and if the weather is not good or rain is not there, so they suffered a loss. As a result, they have to give the particular revenue to the Britishers also, and they were not able to give the revenue to the Britishers. Now Rayatwari system was also as a result of the Rayatwari system, this peasant, they started evacuating the villages also, and some of the villages also deserted because of these systems. So now the Britishers, all these systems which were brought by the Britishers actually became the problem for the peasants, and as a result the peasants, they started evacuating the villages because they were not able to pay the revenue to the Britishers. So they moved in search of the job to earn their livelihood. And now the next topic is crops for the Europe. Exactly at the same time, one crop basically that was known as indigo. Indigo means a special blue colored dye. We all use indigo in our houses, and these dye was basically used for dyeing the color. Because at that time in the Britain, industrialization happened in the Britain at that time. So for having the cotton textile mill, color dye was, or the indigo was in a huge demand. Simultaneously, at that time, other part of the world, the wood system was also there. Wood was a plant which also produces the dye, but that dye was not suitable for all types of clothes. Whereas the Indian indigo, that was suitable for each and every type of cloth, whether it is synthetic, whether it is cotton, whether it is anything. So the thing is, suddenly the demand of the indigo increases in the world, and the crop for the Europe, and basically at the time we were the colony. So Britishers, because they were basically the traders, so basically it comes to their mind to give the, thank you.